Psycho Schematics. There's another 2019 NFL Draft Review video. But this video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about draft sleeper picks for the 2019 draft. For my first highlighted sleeper pick, I have Trace McSorley, quarterback from Penn State, boy! Trace McSorley has the potential to be a late round steal as a player on the NFL level. I'd predict like around 5th round. He possesses toughness, arm strength, decent throw on the run ability, speed, agility, and sometimes decent accuracy. And he would be an interesting selection as a potential project player at the quarterback position. But obviously, based on his skill set, he would need to be developed over a longer period of time in comparison to the more polished quarterbacks in this draft class. So, McSorley wasn't really developed in a West Coast offensive style system. He was developed more of a spread, read option style system. And that's a much different offensive system in comparison to pro style systems with West Coast offense and reads and option routes built into the routes and the play calling. So he will definitely need time to develop in terms of just understanding the terminology and understanding how to execute from a more pro style standpoint as a quarterback on the next level. However, if he can work on that and he can improve his mechanics over time, he may actually be a decent selection for what we call late round steal as he develops later in his career. Keep in mind that a lot of these players depend on the systems that they're developed under once they get to the next level, and the coaching staff and the coaches that help them mature and adapt and progress at the next level. So we'll see what happens. We'll see who he's drafted to. But if he develops under a good quarterback coach and just has time to progress into... My next highlighted sleeper pick for this video is going to be John Abram from Mississippi State. John Abram is what you call a tone setter on defense. He likes to play around the line of scrimmage. He's edgy, nasty, gritty, tough, aggressive, hard-hitting type of player at the safety position. He has burst, closing speed at the point of attack, and an overall aggression that makes me think he'd fit as more of like a box strong safety in the NFL that could attack when trying to defend against the run, when runs are trying to bounce to the outside, and also attacking around the perimeter if you see routes that are going towards the flat. However, a lot of scouts aren't really talking about his ability to actually play decent man coverage. If you actually watch the tape of John Abram, his man coverage ability is actually pretty underrated. So when you watch his technique, watch his coverage form, it really makes you realize, you know what, he's actually pretty decent at man coverage. So not only can he be used as a box strong safety, he can also play nickel if you need him to, in order to defend against slot wide receivers or wide receivers that are towards the slot near the outside. But understand, he's more than just a hard-hitting, grit, blitzing edge. It's an edge safety. He's more than that. You can use him in various positions in numerous ways. So don't be misled by some of those scouts. John Abram, I think he'll be actually a very decent player on the next level. I'd say he'd go early 2nd round, late 1st round. John Abram. The next sleeper prospect on my list is Rock Ya-Sin from Temple University. Yes, I think that name is pretty cool. So like I said before, Rock Ya-Sin from Temple University. Ya-Sin has decent man coverage skills. He uses arms and hands well when using bump and run technique, does a decent job of changing his direction with the shoulder angling, arm angling, and hip rotation when changing direction in man coverage. He has decent speed, so he'll be able to keep up with most wide receivers on the NFL level. And in zone coverage, he understands when to hide his tendencies so that he backs up at the last minute in order to hide his coverage. He does a good job of staring at reading the quarterback's eyes, showing his instincts, knowing when to break and jump on routes, and go hunt for the ball in midair. So overall, Ya-Sin has shown that he has decent ability in man coverage in terms of size, technique, using his leverage, understanding how to use his arms and hands, swat away passes, and to get in position of the wide receivers. And in zone coverage, he understands when to drop back pre-snap so that he can have the angle to look at the quarterback's eyes, read and react, invade the passing lane, swat the ball down, or attack the ball in midair to try to get interceptions. So overall, I think Ya-Sin is an underrated prospect in the 2019 draft at the cornerback position, and a team that's looking to build on a young prospect that could eventually be a solid starter in 2 years on the NFL level. Look at Ya-Sin. He has talent, and he's shown decent technique for a young player. So he can definitely be developed into a good player. Just give him time. And my final sleeper prospect for this video is defensive tackle Dre'Mont Jones from The Ohio State University. Dre Jones plays the 4 technique defensive tackle position, but is built more like a 7'9" bulky technique defensive end. Jones plays as a pass rushing style defensive tackle with his general quickness, mobility, arm usage, defensive pass rushing moves, and closing speed. He's basically built to put pressure on the quarterbacks in passing situations. With his decent motor and drive and pursuit, with some years to develop his body and his overall strength on the professional level with weight trainers on the professional level so he can really work on his strength, he'll have the potential to be a real threat as a pass rushing 3, 4, or 5 technique in the NFL. And also, if he learns how to build and use his legs to anchor and cut out and invade running lanes within the backfield, he'll be a 3-down type of guy, 3-down type of defensive tackle on the next level if he learns to develop his strength and use his anchor over time. But as of right now, I'd see him more as a 3rd down, obvious passing situation style defensive tackle on the next level. On Thursday, the day of the draft, I'll be providing you with some coverage and some insight onto the draft picks, my thoughts on the draft picks, and how they may fit within their system of their team and their coaching staff. Most of that coverage will be on my Facebook page and my Instagram page.